I always say when we were younger, everything was a first. We were learning
Mm.
things for the very first time. We were experiencing things and we were bold, right? You fall off your bike, you get back
Yes.
up, you want to learn how to do it. First time you rollerblade, you figure it out. First time anything. And you're learning sports and you're out there competing in front of all these parents and stuff. Like we were so bold as kids. And over time, I think some of these lessons or these things that were ingrained in us, like you have to be perfect and be really good at
Yes.
everything you do. Who says you have to be? There are things that are fun to do just because they bring you joy. You don't have to be the best at it. And so, this notion of being bold, I think, is the idea. It's the
Hmm.
commitment to do something even before you have it figured out without assuming it has to be perfect, and which is just, I think, part of the spark and the excitement and the passion that drives you to go do those things. And it made me think of like running a marathon. I
Hmm.
remember I was not a big runner, but I had this bucket list thing that I was going to run a marathon. So I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I didn't start running 20 miles initially. I was like, what are the best shoes that I need to buy so I don't hurt myself? What's the training plan that I can download that someone's already created that I don't need to come up with myself? And how do I start following it? And then you just slowly work and get there. But the vision is what starts first. The vision, the
Hmm.
commitment, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to pick the date, all those things. And then you start taking baby steps. But why do you
Yes.
feel maybe we've lost our way? Some people have
Mm.
somehow maintained this boldness in their life where they recognize that it doesn't have to be perfect. And then others are just maybe can't find the courage or don't give themselves the same permission.
Exactly. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. And I'll answer that a little bit first with the personal story, I think, and then come back to what I think generally. The personal story is that I recounted at the beginning of the podcast my desire and interest in the field of hosting and storytelling and these people that made a career out of interviewing because of my passion for connecting with people and all of that. But as you continue to, I guess, basically graduate high school and then college, the expectation from society is so strong around what it means to be successful. And this is
Hmm.
for me. I would imagine that for a lot of other people, this plays into their journey as well. But for me, I was always chasing somebody else's vision of success. And
Hmm.
I didn't spend any time thinking about what does success mean to me. But what I saw in the world was that successful people make a lot of money. Successful people are CEOs of companies or sit in the C-suite of companies. Successful people grow their career with promotions every several years. So that's exactly what I set out to do. And so I think people lose their way as a result of that. And
Hmm.
the way that I was able to finally slow that part of my brain down and click on the other part of my brain, which was what do I, Kristen, want to do in my career and in my life? What are my goals? What are my passions? What are my values? Was when I felt out of alignment in my job.
Hmm.
So, one of my other podcast guests said this quote, and I think it's brilliant. She said, contrast creates clarity. And when everything is going smoothly and you're getting all the promotions and you're continuing to grow your career and you're getting validated for the hard work you're doing, it's great and feels like that's your version of success. But
Right.
then I got to imagine this happens to more people than just me. And then when something doesn't go quite right, or it wasn't in your vision of what right was, it's like, this feels so out of alignment with me. And that was the
Hmm.
moment about a year ago. where I stopped and started to pay attention to my inner voice for maybe
Mhm.
the first time of my life in a very significant and substantial way. And so it took me about a year, maybe a little less than that because of where I am now, but to really identify all those things I said. What are my most important values? What's my version of success? How do I define freedom? I literally created an entire PowerPoint presentation titled Finding My Purpose so that I could do the inward work. That was
Yeah.
my way of journaling. And I got some coaching in the process. I went to therapy. And so I also sought out those some outside support to help me look inward because it just wasn't
Yes.
innate to me.